I don't think it needed to be cleaned. It had been cleaned.
There was dirt on the floor, there was bugs on the floor, there's black mold.
I paid to have it cleaned.
The refrigerator is disgusting. The stove is disgusting. It's disgusting.
It was clean.
I'm telling you that the place was disgusting.
This is Judy Justice. Adriana Alonzio and Tanner Krugel are suing their former landlord, Faith Schmidt, for a security deposit and emotional distress.
Court come to order. All rise.
Have a seat, please.
Case number 3121, Alonzio Krugel versus Schmidt.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Tell me your last name.
Krugel,
This is your...
fiance.
The two of you were moving from one state to another.
Correct.
You were moving with what other family members?
Our 4 children.
And you were moving from what state to what state?
Wisconsin to Minnesota.
Whose mother lives in Minnesota?
Mine does.
That's your mom?
Yes.
So you needed a place to live?
Yep.
Yep.
Yes.
Yes. Sorry.
Your mother found a place, or did you?
I found the place initially.
You found the place?
Yes.
And your mother went to do a walkthrough to see if it was suitable for you and your 4 children?
Correct.
And found the defendants. Is it a home
It's a single-family home.
that you own? When did you purchase it?
I believe I purchased it a month before I showed it to them. So no one had lived in it yet.
And when your mom looked at the place, it needed a good cleanup. And you acknowledged that, Ms. Schmidt, that it needed a good cleanup.
I do not.
Well, you sort of do in your answer, so that I want you to rethink what you just said to me. When you showed it to Mr. Krugel's mother, it needed a cleanup. You have to remember what you wrote in your answer. So if you tell the truth, you don't have to have a good memory.
I don't think it needed to be cleaned. It had been cleaned.
I have it in your answer, but I'll get to it in a minute. So you loaded your kids. I assume you took a U-Haul or something of the like, and you agreed to rent the property.
Yes.
And you sent a month's security and a month's rent?
Yes.
In total, how much money did you send?
$3,000.
Which you received and deposited.
Correct.
What date did you send the money?
October 30th. I have the receipts for that as well.
Yeah, she acknowledges she took it. Now, up until that time, you had not signed a lease.
Correct.
And you acknowledge that. They had not signed the lease. When you got there, it is your claim that the property was a mess.
Yes.
And you actually did not move into the property and want your security and your rent back.
Correct.
That's what the case is about. And I'm not exactly sure of what your defense is, but you'll tell me. Is your defense that they had no lease, or that they had a lease that they broke? What is your defense?
So we had an entire interaction. They actually did move into the property. They moved their belongings into the property.
Did you change the locks on the doors
I did not.
at any time?
No. They're still the same locks that they were before.
You arrived on the property on what date?
November 13th.
Still no lease.
Correct. She mailed us the lease, and then we didn't have enough time to sign it and mail it back to her. And so we have in text message, she's saying we can just bring it with us, but we didn't want to sign it, so we...
Got it. So you got there on the 13th. I'd like you to describe what it looked like on the 13th.
Well, it was dark, so it was really hard to see anything. When we pulled up, the guys pulled the horse trailer in the back. So the guys were unloading that while Linda, myself, and my brother and the children started walking through the home, seeing where we were going to put everything, and that's when we started noticing, it was just disgusting.
Well, tell me.
There's dirt on the floor, there was bugs on the floor, there's black mold, there was water damage in the walls that she said...
Did you take any photographs?
I have a lot of photographs.
May I see them, please?
Yes.
And this was the day you were moving in your things?
Correct.
Or the next day?
The day we were starting to move in. And then once we started to notice...
Just a second. Some of these I'll ask you to address, some I won't. There's a lot of water damage. Kevin, would you show these photographs to Ms. Schmidt, please? I'll take them back now. Ms. Schmidt, from whom did you purchase this house?
Edina Realty.
Was it a person or was the house foreclosed?
It was a person.
And how much did you pay for it?
I don't recall the exact price.
Give me a ballpark figure.
I would prefer not to disclose.
I don't care what you prefer. Give me a figure.
Around $100,000.
What do you mean around $100,000? What kind of work do you do?
I am a landlord. I'm a business owner. I have rental properties.
Okay, so that's what you do as a living.
Yes, that is
Okay.
a recent business that I've started.
Great. If it's a recent business, how many homes do you have?
I have 4.
Is this the last one that you purchased?
Yes.
How much did you pay for it?
I believe it was 100,000 something. It was between 100,000 and 110,000.
Yes.
I have a picture from the Zillow ad that tells the date that she purchased the home
See.
and how much she purchased it for. I also have a text message of her acknowledging the fact that her dad and the kids that cleaned the house said it was not clean enough
Just
the
a
day
second.
before.
I'm not there yet.
Okay, sorry.
Well, the estimate for the house is $94,000. It's sold for $94,000. Is that right?
I believe so.
Okay. Now, in your answer to their request, which is their request for return of their deposit, or we're asking for a lot of other stuff, but it's for the return of their deposit, you say, since I had not even received the signed lease back yet, they were trespassing. That's what you wrote in your answer.
So
I
Linda,
had the unit cleaned that same day. The next night on November 13th, I met them as well as the other adults. Who cleaned the unit the same day on the 13th?
so I paid one of my employees to clean the unit prior. I reached out after Linda entered the property.
No. Pay careful attention to my question.
I'm giving you a backstory.
I don't want a backstory.
Adriana Alonzio and Tanner Krugel claim their former landlord, Faith Schmidt, refuses to return their security deposits. Faith is countersuing for loss of income and harassment.
Now, you said the house was clean. Clearly, this is not a recently cleaned house.
I paid to have it cleaned, and then because Linda had complained,
You would acknowledge that these pictures that I
before
showed
Tanner-
you. Just a second, you don't talk over me. You do acknowledge that this house, as the photographs indicate, because they were only there for a day, the dead bugs, the black mold do not indicate a recently clean property.
Yes, ma'am. May I tell you more?
First, I'm asking you a question. You looked at the photographs, and you have to acknowledge that these photographs do not reflect a recently clean property ready for people to move into.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so when they got there, the place was not clean. When
Ma'am.
they arrived there with their 4 children, the
It was
place...
clean. These pictures were not taken by them. They were taken by Linda. Linda entered the premises before they were even there. She was not
On what
supposed to be
date?
there.
Just a second.
On the 12th. They did not arrive until the 13th. Linda took these photos. Linda reached out to me. Linda said the property was not clean. I have text messages that I hired someone to go over there and clean it afterwards, which he cleaned the stove, the air conditioner, the freezer, and
Show me. Okay, so now what you're saying is that the mother took these photographs.
Correct.
And after she called you and said that the place is not clean...
While I was working, I was doing something else. I immediately sent someone over there before I had any communication with Tanner or Adriana.
Just a second. Fine. I want you to understand this. These 2 people traveled from one state to another with 4 children, ranging in age from...
8 to, at the time, 14 months.
They wanted a place to live. They needed a place to live. If what you're telling me is that this is not a fair and accurate representation of what the place looked like when they got there...
It did not look like that when Tanner and Adriana arrived to the premises. It looked like that when Linda got there, which I was notified of, and immediately sent someone over to clean the premises.
Who?
I sent a hired kid. His name was Alex.
Is that you?
No.
Just a second. You just raised your hand. She said, I immediately sent somebody over there. I said, is that you? You raised your hand.
I also sent my dad over to ensure that the employee, he had done a good job cleaning. While I was doing something else, he also sent me videos of him cleaning out the freezer.
Just a second. I would like to see whatever photographs you have of what the place looked like before they got there. Show me. You already have a complaint, and you're a landlord. You have a complaint that the place was disgusting.
Correct.
And you have 1 day to clean it all up.
Yep.
Not yep, that's a yes.
Yes, ma'am.
You don't bring me the person who cleaned it. I assume you have photographs now that you know that there's a complaint. I assume you have photographs of what the place looked like when they arrived. That means no.
I didn't take photographs after, no.
Well, that's too bad.
I do have an inspection, though, a past inspection that says there is no mold in the home, and I've not made any alterations.
Just a second. Do you have that inspection for me to see?
Yes, ma'am.
After, on or about the 13th of November?
No.
No. Okay. Ms. Schmidt, this is not a difficult case. Either they had a lease or they didn't. In your answer, you said since they didn't have a lease, they were in fact trespassing.
They had no intention to sign the lease.
Just a second. No. You are incorrect, because that's not common sense. Common sense would suggest that people who are traveling across state borders with 4 small children need a place to live. They sent mother-in-law to look for a place to live.
And she said it was very nice.
Just a second. They sent her, I don't know what assurances they had with regard to cleaning it out. I don't know what her level of cleanliness is, but I know I wouldn't move into this place after having paid somebody $3,000. This place is disgusting. The refrigerator is disgusting. The stove is disgusting. The bugs are disgusting. The wood is disgusting. It's disgusting. Now, you want to be a slum landlord. That's your problem. But either they have a lease or they don't have a lease. If they don't have a lease, then they get their money back because they didn't move in to live. That's not difficult, sir, is it?
No, but I'd like to say something.
Sure, stand up and say whatever you like and uncross your arms when you do it.
Okay. When she called and said that Linda had called to complain about the place, so I did go up there and I met with Linda.
Linda is the mother.
Correct.
And?
Correct. And we talked and we went over what the problems were. And so, as to my knowledge, we agreed on the fix, and I seen to it that we had a couple people come over and clean.
Before or after lunch, sir? Did you have it cleaned with a couple of people before or after you and a couple of people had lunch?
I don't know what lunch has to do with it. I don't know nothing about
I know what lunch has to do with it. So you knew there was a problem and you went to the house on the 12th, according to you. They were due there on the 13th and the place was disgusting. You would agree with that?
Yeah, I don't agree with the mold because the city of Spring Valley has inspectors that come around and inspect for mold.
I'm telling you that the place was disgusting. It was not a place where I moved into dozens of properties in my life, both inexpensive and expensive. The inexpensive ones, when I moved in, were clean.
Sure.
That's the way when I moved out of a property, I left it. If your daughter wants to be in business for herself, then she's got to learn how to be in business a good way.
Sure.
Okay? You have to acknowledge she knew that these people were coming across state lines. They were coming across with little children because Linda let you know that.
I don't know anything about that.
You don't know who was moving in?
No, it's.
Oh,
It's not.
Did you know who was moving in, Ms. Schmidt?
I didn't meet them personally. I met with Linda.
That's not what I asked you. Did Linda tell you that her son, her son's partner, and 4 children were moving into the house?
Yes.
Of course. This is not the way you expect a house to be. Common sense would indicate that you would then, after your father and his crew cleaned it, you would take photographs to show that it was not in this condition anymore.
Adriana Alonzio and Tanner Krugel are accusing their former landlord, Faith Schmidt, of renting them an uninhabitable property. Faith is countersuing, claiming the couple owes her for loss of income.
Now, I'm coming back to you. Either they have a lease or they don't have a lease.
We had a verbal agreement.
No, you have to have a lease in order to keep their security deposit. Did you have a lease? You said they had no lease, they were trespassing because you told them to get out.
So then they were trespassing.
Yes,
they were on my property without my permission.
Then they get their money back. What is so hard about that? Either they have a lease or they don't have a lease. You can't say they're trespassing on your property because at one point, part of the thing that they're suing about is because you went into the house and you came out with a handgun. Is that right?
Correct.
Correct. And because you felt as if you needed a handgun to defuse the situation that was developing on the 13th. Whatever it was, they left. They get their security deposit back. and their month's rent. And if you want to be a big girl in a big girl's business, you got to do the right thing. This is not the right thing. Okay. You want to tell me, Ms. Schmidt, why you felt it necessary? Because I'm going to get rid of that part of your claim very quickly. Why you felt it necessary to come out with a gun on the 13th?
So when I went in there in an attempt to resolve the issues that they were complaining about the night of the 13th, I brought the walkthrough paperwork, and we were going to fill out a walkthrough with everything that needed to be addressed. Instead of accomplishing that, we were in...
Okay, so what room did you go into first?
I walked through the back door off the porch into the kitchen.
What did they complain about in the kitchen?
They complained about the cleaning.
What specifically about the cleaning?
They complained about the dirt behind the fridge. They complained about the state of the fridge.
What was the state of the fridge?
There were stains in the back of the fridge that were not coming off with any cleaning.
What else?
They complained about the stove.
And what about the stove?
The inside of the stove.
That it was filthy?
Correct.
Okay. And did you see that the inside of the stove was filthy?
Not on that day. But
No. You know, I don't believe...
On the 13th, it was not filthy. It was cleaned by Alex. I had
If
cleaned. Those were one of the stove and the fridge was very important to me that he cleaned those. We also talked about getting them new appliances because they weren't satisfactory. I was going above and beyond to appease them, and I told them that I would look for new appliances, that I wouldn't be able to provide them overnight, but that I would be looking for them and provide them with new appliances.
She has that in text.
That she was going to provide new appliances?
Yes.
Because the ones that were existing were unsatisfactory.
Yeah.
They get their security deposit back. $3,000. Your counterclaim is ludicrous. Lost income, damages due to false claims, rent, utilities, and harassment. How did they harass you?
She has reported my Facebook account, so I no longer can advertise. So I've had to do alternative routes of advertising. Before, it never cost me anything to advertise. Now I have to pay for advertising through the newspaper. I bought a rental sign. I've done things.
What was the harassment? She complained about what happened to her family when they came to this property that they were renting.
Harassment wasn't the word that I would use.
Well, what would you use?
She's dragging my name through the mud. She's going to the local bars. I have heard from
Just a second. You can't tell me rumors. If you have somebody who can testify that she said something about what?
My dad can testify because his employees are telling him.
He can't tell me what his employee. Listen to me. He can't tell me what his employees are telling him. He can tell me if they said something to him. So what? Did you finally find a place to live?
No, we have not.
Since November.
Correct.
Where are you staying?
Right now, we're staying at my parents' house. We had to move back to Wisconsin, so we are on air mattresses in my parents' family room.
Why were you moving?
To be closer to his family.
Anybody have a job?
He had a job, a potential job lined up.
In Minnesota?
Correct, yes.
What kind of work?
Property maintenance management.
What are you doing now?
Nothing right now. I started a new job in Milwaukee on Monday.
He had to turn down a really good job offer in Minnesota because we didn't have a
That's all.
permit.
I just asked him what he was doing now, not woulda, shoulda, coulda. Okay. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $3,000. Counterclaim, whatever it is for, I don't even know, is dismissed. Thank you very much. We're finished.
This court's adjourned.
I did offer them 3/4 of their deposit back.
We wanted it all back. We didn't live there.
I put forth my best effort to find them new appliances, to hire someone to do cleaning. I believe I went above and beyond.
We had a verbal agreement that the house was going to be in livable condition, and as you can tell by the pictures, it was not livable.
Differently in the future, I think instead of hiring someone to clean, I'm probably going to clean myself, and I'm going to take photo evidence and videos of everything.
She knew a month ahead of time that we were coming, so it's not like it was sprung onto her the day before like she's trying to claim.
I'm not going to go out of my way to give them access to the property before I'm there. I'm going to do the walkthrough and ensure the lease is signed before they have access to the property to avoid this.
Being a landlord is not the job for her.
You know, I remember moving in somewhere when I was a junior in college, and, you know, they always take advantage of us college students. We'll live anywhere, sleep anywhere, we don't really care. But it wasn't clean when my roommate and I moved in. And I remember when we did the walkthrough thinking that if I ever became a landlord or, you know, anything in this realm of realty, that I would make sure that all the places that I would expect other people not only to live, but to pay money for, was up to the standard of somewhere that I would live. And I think that the defendant couldn't even say that she would be willing to move in there and live there in the condition that it was in, either on the 12th or the 13th. You know, that's a big deal.
Yeah,
And
they wanted a place to live.
so I think her claim that they never planned on signing the lease or they were trying to take advantage of her, I don't believe any of that. No mother packs up an 18-month-old for no reason.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, they were hoping to make a new life. It didn't work out. Yeah, she's a young person to have a little real estate business, 4 properties that she owns, and I give her credit for that. But you can't be a slumlord.
yeah, I give
and
her credit
expect
too.
to get, yeah.
But if you want 4 properties, they have to be 4 properties that you'd be willing to live in yourself, not
That's
subpar.
the answer. That's the answer. I gather that all of you are very involved in cars.
Yes, Your Honor.
I was talking about how I wanted rims on my car, and he was like, oh, maybe I should get new rims on mine.
The rims that you wanted, she gave you the money.
Yes, Your Honor.
His girlfriend would not.
Why wouldn't you?
And his wouldn't.
Smart girl.
I know.
This is Judy Justice. Bailiff Cassandra Britt is standing in for Bailiff Kevin Roscoe, and Law Clerk Alexi Mincer is sitting in for Law Clerk Sarah Rose. Skylar Ramirez is suing her former friend, Chris Martinez, for an unpaid loan and harassment.
Court come to order. All rise.
Have a seat, please.
Case number 3073, Ramirez versus Martinez, Judge.
Thank you, Cassandra.
Yes.
Miss Ramirez, this gentleman is a friend of your boyfriend.
Yes, was.
He was a friend of your boyfriend.
Yes.
No longer, I assume, because of this incident.
Yeah.
And I gather that all of you are very involved in cars, fixing them up, souping them up, making them pretty, whatever it is. It is your claim that the defendant, Mr. Martinez, wanted rims for his car. I must tell you, I haven't had a rims case in many years. And rims are expensive. The rims that you wanted, sir, were $1,200.
Yes, Your Honor.
And you didn't have the $1,200.
No, Your Honor.
And according to you, Ms. Ramirez, you gave him $800 of the $1,200 as a loan.
Yes, Your Honor.
We'll get into the specifics of how that came about, and you haven't been repaid. That's why you're here.
Yes, Your Honor.
How long have you known each other?
The 2 of us, like 7, 8 months maybe.
What's your boyfriend's name?
Nathan.
Nathan, how long have you known Mr. Martinez?
I've known him for a couple years now, maybe about 6 years.
6 is more than a couple.
I'm sorry, Your Honor.
6 years. Mr. Ramirez, I want you to tell me the circumstances surrounding this transfer of $800 to Mr. Martinez.
It was a conversation between the 2 of us. He explained that
Just the 2 of you? Your boyfriend wasn't there?
it was just the 2 of us at Brittany's house, and we were.
Who's Brittany?
Brittany is his girlfriend.
Was it your house?
Yes. We had a conversation that he wanted to acquire some rims and didn't have the credit score for it.
Didn't have the credit score?
Yes.
Okay. So you were originally going to take out a loan to buy the rims.
Yes, Your Honor.
And when was that, Mr. Martinez?
It was towards the end of March of 2023.
You went to a finance company?
I used to work for a tire shop, and they do financing there. And then that's when Ms. Ramirez.
No, Ms. Ramirez isn't a mind reader, so somehow you had to have a conversation with her.
I brought it up with my girlfriend.
Brought it up with your girlfriend?
Yes, I talked about it with my girlfriend.
Hold on.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Tell me your name.
Brittany Gallardo.
I want you to tell me the first conversation you had with your boyfriend about these rims.
Yeah, we were just talking about
Just the
both of
2
our
of you?
cars. Yes, just both of our cars. I was talking about how I wanted rims on my car, and he was like, oh, maybe I should get new rims on mine. And then from there, that's when...
No. Just the 2 of you.
Mm-hmm.
So you said you wanted new rims on your car. He said maybe I should get new rims on mine.
Mm-hmm.
There had to be more than that. You know, he's your boyfriend. You live together?
No.
What does that mean?
He stays over every once in a while.
Okay. I want you to tell me the conversation that you had with your boyfriend when she wasn't there initially about buying rims.
That was the first time we ever really had that conversation.
Okay, well, the first time you had the conversation,
Yeah.
the issue of money had to come up.
I told him I didn't have money for mine, and
You said I
that
don't
we
have-
had to work on getting the money for rims first.
So you said, I don't have money for rims for mine. It's not an answer. Yes, I'm sure
Yes,
you mean
ma'am.
yes, Ms. Gallardo. And he said he's got to work on getting the money for his?
Yes, ma'am.
Were those his words?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, If it's my boyfriend, my next question would be, how are you going to do that? And what did he tell you?
He's looking for another job because he had just lost his job recently.
So he was going to look for another job.
Yes.
Did he talk to you about financing the rims?
No, ma'am.
He just said he was going to look for another job. Tell me about when this was. Do you remember what month?
Middle of March, beginning of March, somewhere in there.
Okay. There came a time when the plaintiff was at your house.
Yes.
And you were home.
Yes, ma'am.
And your boyfriend was there.
Yes, ma'am.
Were you present when he started to talk about his lust for rims with the plaintiff?
Yes, ma'am.
Tell me the conversation.
They were talking about rims. And
No,
so I
she
brought up
wasn't-
the
she-
conversation that we had about him. And then she was like, oh, well, why don't you guys just get him? And I was like, well, I don't have the money right now, and he still has to find another job. So until that happens, you know, we can't really do much. And she was like, oh, well, you know, I could be your friend and I can help you guys finance, but the work that he does on my car should be free.
Careful what you say to me. Be really careful.
Yes.
You want to be helpful, but don't get ensnared in the web.
Okay.
Because I weave that.
Yes, ma'am.
So she was there. You started to talk about rims,
Yes, ma'am.
financing them. She said, I could help you guys out by financing.
Yes.
And you had tried to finance.
No, Your Honor, I haven't tried.
Okay, so you hadn't gone to anyone else about financing.
No, Your Honor.
Okay, so she said, I could help you guys out financing. And what did your boyfriend say?
No. Sorry.
Scalardo, right here.
So-
Not him. You know, he may be permanent, he may be temporary, you never know. This tape is forever.
I know. I know.
Good. I mean, 10 years from now, you probably will have to look at pictures to remember what he looks like. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Skylar Ramirez claims her former friend, Chris Martinez, refuses to pay back a loan for car rims.
Okay. She said, I think I could help you out financing. And?
They had their conversation. I went inside because I have kids. So I just went inside.
Oh, so you didn't hear?
So I heard the conversation from the door because I just went to go check on the kids. But I said, I would rather you wait until we can do it on our own. And so their conversation came up because she had already gotten work done on her car. So, and she kind of already owed him.
There's no almost
Okay, well, she owed him money for the labor that he was doing on her car. And because of that, he was like, well, if you do that, we can just call it even. And
You heard that?
Yes, ma'am. And so she was like, so you're going to do my car for free? And he said, yeah, I'll work on your car for free, but you have to finance and pay for the rims. That day that they went to go get the rims, I guess, he had to put cash out of his own pocket to get the rims that day.
How much, sir?
I put $400 down.
You put down $400, but the rims were $1,200.
She got financed for $800. The rims, cash-wise, were $1,200 out the door cash. There were more because interest, so I put $400 down.
So she gave you $8.
Yes, Your Honor.
And that was sometime in March.
Yes, Your Honor.
Between March and May, what work did you do on her car?
Every time they needed something done on their car, they show up to my girlfriend's house late, around 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock at night, asking for work to get done. I've done oil changes on the car, their brakes, spark plugs.
I asked you a specific question. Between March, which is the time that she advanced $800 towards your rims, and May, what work did you do on her car?
Your Honor, it varies. I've done multiple stuff within that time period.
This is her boyfriend. He used to be your friend.
Yes, Your Honor.
He's not your friend anymore.
No, Your Honor.
You want to tell me why?
Because this whole situation, the way it turned out to be, he's just going off what she says. He's
Well, you've
following
been
her.
friends for 6 years. Did you have a discussion with him? Because there came a time when she wanted her money back. Because now she's got this loan that's built up interest, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
And so you had to have had a discussion with
Nathan.
Nathan.
Nathan really's never talked to me about anything. It's always Skylar going through his phone on his Instagram, talking to me about it, or having other people call me.
May I say
Nathan? Nathan, did you ever have, after the exchange of this money and after your girlfriend took out this loan, did you ever have a conversation with Mr. Martinez?
I did not personally know.
Did you have any email or text exchange with him?
On my account, yes, Your Honor.
Do you have a copy of that?
This was later on, like a month after the financing.
Well, this is in April. I assume that this is you saying, ain't trying to rush you, bro, but we need the money.
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you have half of the 50?
Yes, Your Honor.
And he says, I don't, bro. I always have 3 kids to take care of. You have 3 kids?
I have 3, Your Honor.
Okay. You're good. I wasn't even trying to be like that. Don't take it the wrong way. I'm not, bro. I don't want you guys to think I'm blanking you all over. What does that mean?
I don't want them to feel like I'm screwing them over, Your Honor.
Screwing them over for what? For the money?
Yeah.
For the money. Well, that would indicate to me, Mr. Martinez, that you acknowledge that you owed him money. But you have 3 kids to take care of, and you didn't have the money.
The initial agreement when I got the rims was I work on their car. That was the initial agreement.
That's in March. You said that I would work on their cars. That's what you said.
Yes, Your Honor.
Initial agreement is that I would work on their cars. And so I specifically asked you, what work did you do on their cars from March until May? Which was actually a pretty reasonable question, because these texts were the end of April. And you said, I changed spark plugs, I changed the oil.
I've done brakes. I've installed aftermarket parts for them.
Just a second. When is my question? I just want to know what you did for them after she gave you the money. Were you supposed to sell this car, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you sell it?
No, Your Honor.
Why not? Is not an answer.
Just people lowball me.
You have a Mitsubishi
Yes, Your Honor.
2000.
Yes, Your Honor.
Where'd you get it from?
I traded one of my last vehicles for it.
You traded?
Yes.
What did you trade it for?
I had a 2013 Cadillac ATS, and I traded my homeboy with it, and he gave me cash on top as well.
When?
I want to say beginning of February.
Oh, so you didn't have this car very long, so it was
No,
your
Your Honor.
intention of flipping the car once you
Yes.
put rims on it.
Not even that. I was going to sell it with stock rims too.
Then what'd you invest $400 of your own money and $800 of her money for?
I wasn't going to sell it, the vehicle with the rims on it. People that messaged me about it, I told them I'm selling it with stock wheels because I'm not going to lose $400 out of my own pocket. So.
Does he take care of your cars?
He did change our brakes. He did.
On one car or 2 cars? One car.
One car, Your Honor.
You live together?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so he changed the brakes. Do you remember when he did that?
March.
What else did he do?
He did a spark plugs a few days later, and then there was a leak in like our router or something like that in the brakes, and he changed that. But other than that, it was like small little things. He painted our rims. We helped him paint the rims together and stuff.
When you go over to where they live, he does it at his house?
No, he does it at Brittany's house, his girlfriend. We would text him and I'd tell him that I get off late, and he said to just come through later on in the day whenever I'm off work. So it would be late, and I would let them know that, and they were okay with it until a time, and then they told me that's not okay, and I said that's fine. Like, I respect the boundaries.
What arrangements did you make to pay him?
Anytime he would do our thing for us, like the brakes, for instance, he told us that it'd be $50. And I told him that I'd cash app it to him, and I cash apped him $50.
So you paid him for the brakes?
Yes.
$50?
Yes.
And you can show me that?
I have it on my phone.
Did she pay you $50 for the brakes? She's going to show me that
For the
she
brakes,
did.
yes.
Spark plugs?
I've never received a payment for spark plugs.
Spark plugs?
No, he said that he would do the labor for it if we paid for the parts.
And how much were the parts?
Altogether, because we bought it with the brakes, it was like $156, somewhere around there and some change.
Okay, and you paid for the parts?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, now, Mr. Martinez, I'd like you to give me some indication of how many hours it took you to change the spark plugs.
Roughly about 30 to 45 minutes.
30 minutes. And then you said there was a router.
Rotor.
Yeah, sorry.
And was that also around the same time in March?
Yeah, it was all around the same time. We were supposed to do it the same night, and then he exclaimed that it was getting late and if we can do it another night.
Okay, so far you've paid him $50. Did you pay him anything for the router?
No, he said he was going to do that because he noticed it was leaking.
So he did those things within a 48-hour period?
Around there or some.
And for that, you sent him $50?
Yes, ma'am.
Which you acknowledge you got?
Yes, Your Honor.
Those are the things that you said were done, right?
That, oil change.
Oh, just a second. When did you do an oil change?
I did the oil change the same day I did the spark plugs.
Okay, so it was all done within a 48-hour period. And after you did that work, and it took you an evening, and it got a little late, so you did some the next day, you charged her $50, which she sent you.
I charged her $50 for the brakes. I never got paid for doing the oil change.
Well, oil change is nothing. It's certainly not $800.
Skylar Ramirez is accusing her former friend, Chris Martinez, of owing her the balance of a car rims loan.
Do you understand what I'm talking about,
Yes,
Mr.
sir.
Martinez?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so now we're at a place where I've just eliminated most of your defense because you said you did work on her car so many hours, 50 hours or whatever it is, and you were never paid for it, so it was part of the agreement. So now I have you worked on the car, according to you, over a 24 or perhaps 48-hour period, but you have a full-time job, so you were doing it in the evening. And she didn't pick this $50 out of the air. You must have said, I'll do it all for you for $50.
No, Your Honor.
No?
No.
Okay. How much did you tell her it was going to be, sir?
I told her for spark plugs and oil change, that's $30 a piece. I'm helping.
Just a second. Spark plugs and oil change was $30, so that's $60. Okay? And the brakes?
Brakes, I charged them $50.
Be careful what you tell me, because, you start to get dry mouth. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So you charge her $50, $30 each for those two things and the brakes.
I just charged for labor. So when
And how much was that?
With that was $110.
You're making that up as going along. What did you do with the $50 she sent you?
I kept that.
You
'Cause
kept it?
That was my pay.
You kept
for the
it?
brakes.
Pay for what? The brakes?
The brakes.
Right. So now, at most, she owes you $60. Is that my math correct, Mr. Mensah? At most, she owes you $60 because you said $30 for the spark plugs and $30 for the oil change. Where do you get $800?
I did their exhaust. I put a aftermarket wing on their car.
Just a second. When?
This was all in the span of maybe 2 weeks to a month before we stopped being friends.
Ms. Ramirez, now I want you to tell me about the conversations because I've been on that team for a while. Now I want you to tell me your version of how it came about that you took out this loan for $800.
So the conversation was at Brittany's house, and the three of us were there. We communicated that he didn't have enough credit, and he asked if I would finance for him because Brittany would not. So I exclaimed,
Why wouldn't you, Brittany? You couldn't or you wouldn't?
I
You
wouldn't. I wouldn't.
Smart girl.
I know. I don't know.
Smart girl. You're thinking about that photograph, right?
Sure am.
So
yeah. And
he said Brittany would not, and
Brittany would not, and so he asked if I would do it for him, and I said, well, yes, of course, like we're friends, I will help you out, but we have to make an agreement because I want to make sure that I'm not losing any money out of pocket because I'm just doing this to help a friend. And he said yes. We went to the place on March 29th. We went to the Rims place, and they told us the papers right here of how much it would be together, $1,800. The payments are $71.40 every other week. And he said that he would pay me every other week so nothing had to come out of my pocket. We never made an agreement of he would do the car, whatever.
I'm not talking about the car.
But I had no idea that he paid any money out of pocket. On the lease, it says nothing about him paying any cash money whatsoever, and that's why the total is so high. And
do you have any communications with him other than what Nate has shown me about the loan?
This is the cash app. He sent $50 and then called me and asked if he can have 20 back for gas. And so, as you can see, it was in a period of time.
Mr. Martinez, what did you send her $50 for?
I was towards the rims because I was getting harassed every day about it.
Just a second. So this was payment, a $50 payment for the rims, but then you asked for cash money back.
I never asked for money back.
So you paid her $50 towards the rims, and you did that beginning of April.
Yes, Your Honor.
And then I see another payment.
No, that was the 20 that
I
sent
she gave you back.
He called to ask for some back.
Did you ever borrow money from him?
No, Your Honor.
Because it says, I'm confronting you on a big boy issue.
Yes.
We always paid you back.
I'm talking about the parts where he did like the spark plugs and the brakes and all that. He said that I never paid him, but he knows that I did pay them for that.
So that's what you were talking about?
Yes, that's what I was talking about.
We always paid you back. How much do you owe the finance company now?
Today, if I were to make the purchase, it would be $892.15. But that's already after I made payments already.
And how much did you make in payments that you can prove to me? Ms. Gallardo, how long have you known him?
Way too long. I want to say 13, 14 years now.
You live together?
No.
Is he the father of these children?
No.
Do you work?
Yes, ma'am.
What kind of work do you do?
I'm a masseuse.
You support your kids?
Yes, ma'am.
What about him? Does he support his?
Yes. As much as he can.
Well, you know, you have to eat regularly.
Right. He does, mechanical work and stuff. He goes and spends time with his kids and.
But you know, if you have 3 kids and you don't work all the time or work at a not high-paying job,
Right.
doesn't it sound moronic to spend $1,200 on rims for a car?
Yes, ma'am.
Sounds like something a 10-year-old would do. You know, not somebody who was a responsible parent. Because you have kids.
Yes, ma'am.
And when you said, I'd love to put rims on my car, you said, I can't afford it.
Yeah, I can't afford it right now.
Ta-da! How much did you make in payments?
Altogether, I made $416 in payments. I had some late.
So you
fees.
paid so far $1,316. Is that correct, Lexi?
$890 and $416.
Yeah.
I have $1,306.
Yeah, $1,306 is what you paid so far. The $890 would clear the debt?
Yes, it would make it your own.
Now, $1,306. Judgment for the plaintiff. Thank you very much. Remember that picture?
Yes, ma'am.
Case is now closed. Court is adjourned.
She was just being immature about it.
I think she made the right decision.
I'm a parent of 3, and I'd rather not put myself in a hole that I can't get myself out of.
Yeah, I really wanted it to work out, but I feel like it was just immaturity that made it go like that.
Stick to the agreement that we had, which was working on the car.
Every time he done work on our car, we always paid him.
Friends come and go.
The world works in mysterious ways, and I think he just likes it that way.
So, Alexi, let me tell you my takeaway from this case, which has nothing to do with the law. It has to do with Miss Gallardo, who I found absolutely charming. I actually found the plaintiff and her boyfriend also honest and charming. The defendant, on the other hand, is a hustler. And it's interesting that Miss Gallardo knows he's a hustler because that lady smiled when I say, remember the picture. 10 years, you won't remember him because he has 3 kids, takes care of them, she says, as best he can. Well, you can't take care of them as best you can if you don't have a job. And then not to have a job and to want $1,200 rib.
सामने ऐसे देखोगी और सामने जाओ जंपिंग करके दिखाओ बाबू को जाओ जरा जंपिंग करो अरे वहाँ सामने दूर से अरे हाँ ना भाई अब्दुल्ला आदि बम्माची का चक्कर है भाई ओए 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 चलो आप सामने जंपिंग करके जल्दी से अब्दुल्ला आदि की तरह ओह वाह मारा ओए हाँ अब्दुल्ला आदि आपकी तो जंपिंग करनी है वाह मारा ये हेलो अब्दुल्ला आदि हे मारा हमारा जस्ट डू बेबी शार्क डू 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 अच्छा फिर से कर दो ना जल्दी से आराम से जंपिंग नहीं अच्छा वैसे बेबी शार्क कर दो अच्छा हमारा ये बताओ जॉनी अच्छा वहाँ जाओ ना अरे वहाँ जाओगे तो पापा दिखेंगे ना आपको वहाँ जाओ वहाँ जाके जरा जॉनी करके आओ हाँ पंपिंग नहीं ना आप बताइए जॉनी ये अच्छा हमारा जॉनी फिर क्या करेंगे हम लोग पॉपी खाने बम्माची करने Are you sure? Up in your mouth? अब जल्दी से दिखाओ हा Johnny. E2 sugar. अरे बाप रे, ओए ओए, ये बमाजी का चक्कर में तू कौन है? ये मेरा बमाजी का चक्कर में तू कौन है भाई? Johnny. Eating poppy. अब भाई, वहाँ जाके जंपिंग करके आओ, जल्दी से जाओ, जंपिंग करके आओ. हाय. वाह मायरा. वो यस गुड़िया. क्या करें? क्या करूं? तो ये क्या? चिड़िया आया. अच्छा, वो हम लोग कैसे बोलते हैं? कोयल बोले कू कू कू. चिड़िया बोले चू 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 चू. अल्लाहू 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 अल्लाहू. और वो वाला कैसे था? हाथी वाला कैसे था? एक मोटा हाथी घूमने चला, बारिश में जाके वो फंसा. है ना अब्दुल हादी? चिड़िया बोले चू 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 चू. अल्लाहू 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 अल्लाहू. अच्छा, देखने दो, ऐसे देखोगे ना भाई. अच्छे. अच्छा, वो हम लोग कैसे कहते हैं? ट्विंकल ट्विंकल लिटिल स्टार, हाउ आई वंडर व्हाट यू आर. Up above the world so high, like a diamond in the sky. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Up above the world so high, like a diamond in the sky. Abdul Hadi, Baba. Yay!